Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Fast Break here on iSports Radio, I wanted to introduce y'all to our title sponsor, the Southern California Warriors Semi-Pro Football Team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players playing to play in so many hosts of different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that is playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on the quest to earn titles to give players second chances since 2017. Wherever you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. You can find us on social media at SoCal Warriors, at Twitter, and on Instagram, Southern California _Warriors, and on Facebook, Southern California Warriors. Now, on to the show. On tonight's broadcast, a somber one in a sense. Legendary basketball player, an icon, trailblazer, however you want to put it. Bill Russell has passed away peacefully at the age of 88 years old. We will discuss his legacy, not only for the Celtics, but for the NBA as a whole. Plus, Kevin Durant. Can he be moved? Will he be moved to Boston? We'll discuss that. And also, is Draymond Green a max contract player in this day and age? We'll discuss that and much more here on Fast Break for iSports Radio. Your direct feed for that is All Is Sports, and you are welcome to join us. Join us as you shout tonight. I know I had to cut the music out, but I had to, put the emphasis on, the passing of Bill Russell here tonight. As some of y'all don't know, as of earlier today, Bill Russell passed away peacefully at his home, according to his wife and representatives. 88 years old. Sorry about that. 88 years old. Was a giant in this league. Very well connected. Was the first Black American head coach here in North America in any major sports, the sports organizations. 11-time champion after 13 years. One-time Olympian, 2-time NCAA champion. All the jazz. Right there. D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty decent. That was rough news to hear earlier today. We were talking before, not many things going on in the NBA, but that is something that did shock the world. So definitely, hopefully, rest in peace to Bill Russell, one of the greats. Not just as a basketball player, but as a human being in general.
I think that's one thing you brought up. That's excellent. You brought up right there, like the human being part, and what he had to go through and whatnot to kind of accomplish what he had to accomplish. D-Lock, what are some thoughts about Bill Russell? What are your thoughts about Bill Russell passing away, and then what does he mean to you in terms like his legacy and whatnot and what he accomplished in life?
Well, the biggest thing for me, I understand we see him as a basketball icon. He's done so much for the NBA. We all know the famous picture with all 11 championship rings around his fingers, which is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I think, excuse me, I think Michael Jordan tried to copy a little bit or mimic some of that. He didn't get 11, but a comparison picture, which we thought was very cool as well. But I think it was the fact that he's, for him to be a head coach, the first black head coach. Me now, past my athletic career, I want to be a coach, and I am actually an assistant coach now. Now eventually being a head coach, clearly in a different sport, but to be a coach, to be a mentor to those would be something super cool. So I believe that he opened the door for that, not just for me, but for others. I mean, we see many different coaches, yourself as well. So I just think that to go through what he has been through and being in the league around the time that he was there, playing with the Celtics, with racism and different things going on. I think Michael Jordan also said a few comments onto it. He has done a lot for us. So for me, I feel like he had a huge impact, very huge impact. But, a lot of people see it as, on the court, but also off the court as well. I think that was a big thing. So I definitely appreciate everything that he has brought to us. I actually remember remember the video. I believe he was standing up, I think it was a Hall of Fame, standing up there with Mutombo, Shaq, and a couple other centers. And he just, kind of pointed them out and said, I kick all y'all ass, kind of. So,
Yeah.
That was something that was kind of, we always hear about athletes that have, in their time, being a great in their time and all that stuff, but it's good to see different time period of players. And what happens is when you see them all together, and the great thing about athletes is they're very competitive. And it's good to see him around that age, still being competitive. Like, man, I still was that guy when I was, on the court. I still would kick y'all ass if I was in my prime. So I definitely appreciate that kind of stuff, man. I think that was pretty cool.
And I want to shout out to everybody in the chat before I get my thoughts on Bill Russell passing away. Shout out to Mike Patch. Shout out to Adam Carter. Shout out to Terry Rodriguez. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Thank y'all for the kind thoughts y'all did in the chat. I appreciate that. It means the world to us in the world of basketball. And this, and I guess general society as well. So I appreciate y'all stopping in real quick and just giving y'all condolences and whatnot. For me, for Bill Russell, as you know, D-Log, and as y'all probably have listened to the show, I'm not the biggest Boston Celtic fan. I'm not a big Boston sports fan in general. I just think, their attitude and whatnot, they act like, in my work, in just my opinion, they act like, everybody's out to get them. Despite, have some of the best pro teams ever to accomplish things, they act like, nobody gives them the respect. They already act that some boogeyman's after them. It was not the case. And in terms of Bill Russell, 11 championships in between 13 seasons is nothing to sneeze at. 11 championships, D-Log. Out of 13 seasons he played, that's what he brought to the table. That's how he helped, establish that legacy here. And there in Boston. He set a standard that was easily followed by the Celtics in the 80s with Bird, McHale, Parrish and Ainge and others. He did that. He set that tone. One of the greatest big men ever that ever played the game. Playing the same era with Wilt Chamberlain. One of the best to ever do it. You know, we always talk about, ooh, Michael Jordan's the best. Is LeBron the best? Kobe's the best. And stuff like that. But sometimes, D-Log, when we talk about the best or have our opinions on the best in basketball, Bill Russell always get glossed over. Wilt Chamberlain gets glossed over. Kareem gets glossed over. But mainly Bill because, you know, with Wilt and Kareem, I mean, you got the scoring accolades there. With Bill, the scoring was there, but he was also known for his defense and rebounding. And plus, he wasn't as tall as the other two I just mentioned as well. That's the other thing. And I know, like, 6'9" was very tall at that day and age. But he don't really get the just due respect that he really deserves. And I think, you know, it's great that the league kind of really kind of get him more in the spotlight here in the past few years. Naming the Finals MVP trophy after him, which was smart. Kudos to Adam Silver to get that done. But you mentioned coaching. And if he didn't set that trailblazing, that trail right there for coaching wise for Black Americans, you know, where would the coaching landscape be in this day and age in the NBA? In college basketball, high school, but mainly like in the pro level. Look at the coaches now we got in the league. Coach right now for the Celtics, Ime Udoka, led the team in his first year to the finals. Doc Rivers,
right,
coaching in Philadelphia right now. What's the Orlando Magic's head coach?
You talking about Mobley?
Yeah, Mobley. First time head coach. Wes Unseld Jr. at Washington. I feel like I missed
Mosley, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mosley. Stylist down in Houston. Darvin Ham recently got hired by the Lakers. Monty Williams at Phoenix. Chauncey Billups at Portland. Ty Lue with the Clips. You know, but those what's his name? Nate McMillan down in Atlanta. But y'all get where I'm going. If he didn't open that door there and had success there, where would those guys be? So, I think for me, you know, for him passing away, we lost a giant. We lost a good humanitarian for the league. And, you know, we didn't really dive too much on this, but on the 75th anniversary celebration they did for the league, and when they had the All-Star game in Cleveland, it was great to see him along with those other legends and whatnot. And, you know, seeing Mike, you know, Mike was at the racetrack and Mike flown in very last minute. You know, seeing Mike and Magic Johnson having that moment and stuff like that. And Bill Russell hanging around with the other legends and whatnot and there. We will miss stuff like that. And, you know, you got to cherish these times. Because you never know what's going to happen. No major health issues. Died peacefully. I think the last image we had of him was Derek Boston at the NBA Finals. So, you know, he lived a full life, 88 years old. Seen a lot of things, did a lot of things, accomplished a lot. Then most people can't do one thing. So, condolences to the Russell family. I'm pretty sure the Celtics, I hope they do a press conference about his death, because he means that much to that organization and that city, in a sense.
Yeah, major icon. I mean, I feel like not only for Boston, but for the NBA, it'll be one of the ways where we see a lot of, they might have some kind of emblem, representing Bill Russell coming to the upcoming season. Damn sure Boston will. But you're talking about like we said, 11-time NBA champion. He was almost an NBA champion many times, but he was an All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
So 5-time MVP. So those things is very, very important. I think he was also second in rebounding for all time right now. So when we talk about one of the greatest of all time, we do, like you said, we talk about LeBron, we talk about Michael Jordan, we talk about all these guys. But this is one person that should get more respect. But I think that he's, like I said, one of the greatest of all time. And to live to see 88 was a great, he's seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
So to be 88, I think that's a blessing alone. And then for it to be peaceful, what else can you ask for in that situation?
And then just looking at Twitter right now, all 30 teams in the NBA, they posted something about him. The NBA had made a statement. I'll read that statement from the NBA real quick. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver issued the following statement regarding the passing Bill Russell. Bill Russell was the greatest champion in all of team sports. The countless accolades that he earned for his storied career with the Boston Celtics include a record 11 championships and 5 MVP awards. Only begin to tell the story of Bill's immense impact of our league and broader society. Bill stood for something bigger than sports, the values of equality, respect, and inclusion that he stamped into the DNA of our league. At the height of his athletic career, Bill advocated rigorously for civil rights and social justice, a legacy he passed down to generations of NBA players who followed in his footsteps. Through the taunts and threats and unthinkable adversity, Bill rose above it all and remained true to his belief that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. For 35 years since Bill completed his trailblazing career as the league's first black head coach, and we were fortunate to see him at every major NBA event, including the NBA Finals where he presented the Bill Russell Trophy to the Finals MVP. I cherish my friendship with Bill and was thrilled when he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and I often called him basketball's Babe Ruth for how he transcended time. Bill was an ultimate winner and a consummate teammate, and his influence on the NBA will be felt forever. We send our deepest condolences to his wife Jeannie, his family, and his many friends. So that's a statement from Adam Silver. You see people like, Barack Obama, Shams Charania, Jeannie Buss even said something. Greg Popovich, Magic Johnson, Scottie Pippen, the Red Sox said something. They put a release out. Like you mentioned, Jordan, Dikembe Mutombo. There's, everybody. Kill Mulkey, LSU women's basketball coach. Everybody has said something. So, it's great to see, everybody saying something nice about him. And you know, like I said, D-Lock, you know, he lived a full life. You know, lived his life to the fullest moment. You know, like I said, we seen him on TV about a couple months ago at the NBA Finals in Boston. Things didn't go out for the way the Celtics hoped, but he was still there enjoying basketball. And that's one thing I know you couldn't take away from him. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the fact that he made such an impact. Right now, I'm looking at, you know, the stats, you know, different nicknames for him. Second round pick overall, 56. So, you know, he's one of the players that a lot of people don't talk too much about because he was clearly before, you know, our time. You know, a lot of people, in fact. So, to be honest with you, I probably would have to have more conversation with my dad, you know, just to get, you know, more of what kind of player was he? Who is he similar to now? Or who's similar to him? So for me, I just like the fact that the impact that he made on the league also, and us as, you know, as black men, you know, trying to be coaches. I feel like that was very huge. Like you said at the time, I mean, you're talking about a guy that dominated in all aspects. So, basically, to put it into perspective for a lot of people that watch the NBA now, we see what Anthony Davis is doing. We see what LeBron is doing. You might want to multiply that by a few, and that's what kind of player he was in the league at the time. You know, we praise LeBron for having so many rings, or Michael Jordan, but, you know, Bill had 11. So that tells you what kind of dominance was going on then. So, like I said, I think that he filled his purpose, not only on the court, but also off the court. So, and I'm definitely appreciative of that. Lived a great life as well.
I definitely agree with you, and, you know, I think, you know, the players in today's game, I think, more than enough, filled what he did on the court, you know, accomplished, you know, what he did, kind of matched that, whatnot. But I think off the court, I think, you know, that's still like a struggle today. So, you know, speaking about the young guy, you know, on the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, who does a lot of these speaking out movements and, you know, talk about racism and stuff like that. He's one of those young guys that's kind of like taking that mantle, kind of like what Bill did back in his younger years, or did in his younger years. So his impact is felt even in today's generation, with guys like Jaylen Brown, you know, in the fold. So that's the Bill Russell talk. And like I say, he passed away, I want to say early this morning at the age of 88. So, and he had to live a good life. You know, nothing bad to say about him and whatnot, nothing controversial, nothing like that. So condolences to Bill Russell and his family. We'll be thinking about y'all. To stay on the topic on Boston, D-Lock, and I know the news has been kind of dry, and football is coming right around the corner, and hockey, free agency, and baseball trade talks are kind of really taking a lot of the news space. But one interesting story came out that the Celtics may be making a move for Kevin Durant. Now, the early talks is about sending Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and I think a first-round pick for Kevin Durant. As we've been discussing ad nauseum on this show, The Nets won more than compensation for that for Kevin Durant. So, D-Lock. Do you see this trade happening between two teams in their own division?
To be honest with you, I don't think so, man. I mean, you're going to have to give up a valuable piece to basically help Boston. The fact that this story is out, and we would think that Kevin Durant will go to the team that is not shocking. But, I don't see, Brooklyn making that move to, help them. I just think that, for one, they're asking for a lot, but I think Boston does have the pieces. They have a few pieces that they will get back where I feel like Brooklyn will still be competitive. But it's just the fact that they're in the same division, and that'd be something that's very, very shocking in my eyes. But I think, to be honest with you, at this point, if Kevin Durant is full-fledged still with wanting to get traded, then yes. I think that Boston is going to be basically the only team right now that can make, some trade moves for him or help them out. But outside of that, I don't see any other teams right now. I mean, we see the situation with Phoenix, Miami. We were thinking about other teams. I believe Golden State was an option until Wiggins signed his deal. So it doesn't seem like it's going to happen with those. And it seems like the only one that's knocking at the door for Kevin Durant is Boston. So I just honestly, like I said, I think that they could be, if he does get traded, that's what it'll be. But I just don't see Brooklyn, especially with asking for so much to try to help out a Boston who clearly was in the NBA Finals last year. So, and then the fact that they just got swept earlier this past year. But, I mean, we've also seen Kevin Durant go from being up 3-1 to going to the team that beat him 3-1. So, you never know. But I don't like it. I don't think it happens.
Ah, man. The Brooklyn Nets, man, it's like, we've seen superstars over the years in the NBA go for less. If we're being real about that, and even like Asian stars like Kevin Durant, kind of went out traded for less and whatnot. Hell, look at Shaq years ago when he got traded from the Lakers to Miami. Only thing the Lakers got back was Brian Grant, Lamar Odom, Caron Butler, and a first-round pick. Hell, if that's the case, the Lakers should have asked back for more for the from the Heat. So no, we give y'all Shaq. Give us at least a couple more first-round picks or something. But geez, so it's like now they want Marcus Smart. I don't know if Boston would be willing to do that. Jaylen Brown's a good piece to get back in return if you're still trying to contend. And I know Derek White, he's a very serviceable guard, but I was like, what else do y'all want? Like we discussed, ain't our fault that y'all gave up all those picks for James Harden and then he's gone after a year and a half. So don't try and ask for a whole bunch of picks for Kevin Durant just because y'all screwed up in previous deals.
Yeah, they're trying to get their compensation back.
And I think that's one thing I think the league probably had to look at is like, yeah, I get it. Kevin Durant's a transcendent player, like one of a kind. A 6'11" forward like that who can shoot the lights out like nobody's business. I get that. But we got to look at all things considered. Kevin Durant be about 34, I believe, or 35 here soon. He about my age. Dog, we getting close to 40. Like, I don't know what the Nets are thinking. And I speak on the basketball side of this. If Boston thinks KD can get them over the hump, then so be it. If you look at Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown and look and say, okay, if he can get us the hump, get us over the hump at this point, we should take a swing at it. But don't gut your future that you could have with Brown and Tatum in the fold for 10 years for at least for 4 years of Kevin Durant. Because let's be real about D-Lock. If you look at the scope of things, if Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown stay together for the next, let's go about 10 years, whatever, who else can match that in the NBA with two young superstars? The Knicks don't got that. The Nets don't got that. Atlanta, we'll wait and see how things go. Miami, well, we'll see how things go. We'll see if they make any trade, whatnot, here down the line or not. Your Orlando Magic, Paul and Pancaro play at the Pro-Am up in Seattle with Chet Holmgren. Look very damn good playing. And like you discussed off the air, if he ain't the damn near number one option, not right at the gate, but towards the end of the year, then like you said, just throw away the whole franchise away.
Exactly. I told you, if they don't have him number one, I'm not watching anymore. I'm done watching Magic basketball.
Like, if they still trying to shoehorn Jonathan Isaac in there, just throw the damn franchise away. It should be Pancaro, Jalen Suggs, your duo for the future. You know, and I'll just kind of just look around. Maybe Devin Booker, John Jayton. You know, we'll see how that works out for them. We'll see, like, Josh Giddey, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for the Thunder, Towns, Anthony Edwards. If y'all kind of looking around, ain't too many duos like that around the NBA. Young duos like that in the NBA. So, my point is, these two young guys have gotten close to the mountaintop multiple times together at the start of their career. Now, looking at the Celtics side of things, like, do y'all really want to do this? For one more championship, just to get one more championship to kind of celebrate for the next 20 years until you get your next one. That's just how I'm looking at things, D-Log. Is like, you could potentially win multiple titles with Tatum and Brown in the fold compared to just one title with KD and Tatum in the fold. That's how I'm looking at things.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that. Now, I know, we're talking about the best players in the league right now. But it's just about in a matter of what you're willing to give up and what the Brooklyn is going to take. And it seems like right now that Boston just has the most ammo, I guess, because the way it seems like it, or the way it is going, Brooklyn wants a trade that's going to keep them in contention for the playoffs and the NBA Finals. Let's be honest. If you trade away Kevin Durant, your chances of winning the NBA Finals plummets. It goes down. Doesn't matter who you get in return, because Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players in the league right now. So, and also what you're doing is helping another team have better, greater chances. But maybe that's something that Brooklyn needs to accept. That, moving off of Kevin Durant, there's a huge chance that, we're not going to be contenders next year. Now, the biggest thing about all of this that a lot of people are failing to notice, and I think many people have overlooked, is the fact that they got Ben Simmons still on the roster. Now, he's not a Kevin Durant, but he can be a hell of a player once he can get back right. I mean, to be honest with you, you remember a lot of people were talking about how Markelle Fultz's career was done in Philly, and now he goes to Orlando and he gets an extension. He actually looks like the pick that he was expected to be when he got drafted. So I think that we may see a different Ben Simmons going into the year. So I think that they're going to be pretty solid, but you're not going to be the Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, Brooklyn Nets that we were expecting and that we seen last year. That's gone. That went out the door when James Harden left. So for me, I think that Brooklyn and that front office, they need to accept that. If you can get over the fact that, yes, you're not going to be as good as you were last year, your expectations are probably going to drop down. Now you're willing, I would think you're probably going to look at some trades that look, respectful for both teams. But to be honest with you, if a team gives up a hell of a lot of picks, a hell of a lot of good player starters, I think it's highway robbery. Because we're not talking about a 28 or 27-year-old Kevin Durant. Like you said, we're talking about a 34, 35 Kevin Durant. So, for me, I think that, it's not going to be a fair trade regardless. But we're talking about Kevin Durant. He's going to be 34 this year, 33 now. He's still one of the better players, but you have to get what you have to accept the fact that you're not going to be the Brooklyn Nets of last year. That's gone. And even if he had a closest chance to being somewhere close to it, Kyrie's going to leave next year. So I think that Brooklyn needs to accept that. I think it'll make this move a hell of a lot easier for both. Now, we haven't heard too much from Kevin Durant ever since that trade. I think we heard something from his brother, but we haven't heard too much from him. So I don't know if that means his mind is somewhat changing a little bit, or he would go back and play. But I honestly don't see that happening, or I don't see it happening like it was last year. But I just think it'll be easier if Brooklyn understands what's going on.
Yeah, and you brought up Ben Simmons, and how he gonna look come the season, whatnot. What's his mindset and focus? Is a trade request by Kyrie and Kevin kind of a result of Ben Simmons' inability to be ready and whatnot? That's another angle I think nobody really has dived into yet. It's like, after seeing this guy being around him for a little bit, it's like, you ain't all cracked up what you are and stuff like that. Oh, we got to get out of here. Okay, we can move out James, whatever, and get somebody else in, but no. Once they got around him, it's like, oh no, we got to go. And I get it for Brooklyn side. You got to make this work. You traded for Ben Simmons and whatnot. And you made some decent moves, getting Royce O'Neal and TJ Warren in the fold. But to trying to recoup everything and stuff like that, I don't know. It's just like you're asking a lot, and like we discussed before, you're asking a lot. I know Minnesota got a lot for Rudy Gobert, which we both call a little bit overboard on that, especially like a person that's like just specifically like plays one way. But I leave it on this note, D-Law, is like I don't foresee a trade happening. You know, unless the Celtics are desperate, or unless they really think Kevin Durant is that one guy to get them over the hump. Unless they looked at finals tape and say, okay, if we had to give up one, who we give up, and would Kevin Durant in these certain situations when we had scoring droughts and whatnot put us over the hump against the Warriors? Could we have closed out the Miami Heat sooner instead of going to 7 games? So I think they factor in all that stuff, but you know, I don't know, man. It is what it is. We'll see how things shake out, but I mean, I don't foresee a trade happening anytime soon. I let you have the last word.
No, I definitely don't either at this point because it's faded. It's been talked about, but faded back so many times. Like for me, it's then kind of died down a little bit. Like it's like, okay, yeah, Kevin Durant is getting traded. Like, you know, there's no momentum going anywhere. And at this point, when that happens, you're gonna have teams just offering little to nothing, unless, like I said, some team is gonna come in there and shock everybody and say, hey, we're gonna give this. Now, what happens is it's gonna take, like I said, looking at front office to accept. Listen, we're not gonna be the same team next year. That's not gonna happen. And I don't think that's gonna. I don't like I said. I don't see them doing that right now. Like I don't see them accepting that. So they're gonna delay this process as long as they can. So opportunity does rise where, hey, Kevin Durant has to stay, and you know now he's back on the roster with a better roster, I would assume. So for me, like I said, I don't see it happening unless, you know, like I said, out of nowhere, you know, that front office says, hey, you know what, we're not going to get what we should get for him. We're going to be the same team. So let's just send him west or send him to a team that we're not going to have to compete against and then just build from the bottom because that's where you are in a sense. So it's, like I said, that's a hard pill to swallow because, I mean, they hired Steve Nash, you know, with that crew. Like we said before, Kevin Durant signed off of everything that happened in Brooklyn. So when you trade him, now that piece that you had, that roster, the coaches, all that stuff, now you have to somewhat start over. Now you have to find a different leader. So, I think a lot of jobs would be up for grabs at that point. But, you know, like I said, I think that they're betting on the fact that they want to bring him back. That's clearly what I'm seeing, or what it seems as if. But they just have to accept the fact that, you know what, they need to say, hey, all right, Kevin, is there any way you can come back? Hell no, I can't come back. All right, if he says that, then they need to accept that, listen, you're not going to be the same team. Milwaukee's going to come back with the squad that they got. Boston's going to more likely come back with their squad. The Bulls are going to be pretty solid next year. So your big three has broken up. Philly's going to be better. Like, just start from scratch. At this point, you might well do what Utah's doing. Grab your lot of picks, Gotta be some young players. Start from scratch. Kyrie's gonna also go ahead and trade him, get some picks. Start from scratch and get it right, and just have to swallow that and understand that's what the situation is at this time. And then, because right now, especially if a guy's already saying he doesn't want to be there, like you already got one guy saying he doesn't want to be there, the next guy's already telling you he's going to LA. Like, what other signs do you need?
Yeah, to go to the chat real quick, Taryn brought up the point, the Nets window closed when they lost to the Bucks back in 2021. I don't want to necessarily say it closed there. It's just, I don't know, it's just tough to say because, Kyrie was out the injury. Harden had the hamstring and whatnot. Kevin Durant did his damage to pull his team ahead. But I don't think the window's closed there. Then, you kind of go back to, fast forward to this season. Okay, you thought everything would be good to go, but then Kyrie couldn't play because of New York's COVID rules. And then Joe Harris went out for the season, so you lost a shooter right there. Kevin Durant missed games, James Harden missed games. You lose Udoka to the Celtics. D'Antoni, decided to peace out. So, a lot of factors there, but I think you could look at it now, coming to this season, I think the window's still kind of cracked. I think if everybody comes back, I think the window's kind of cracked there. Like I mentioned about the additions, and then, like I say, granted, you lose Bruce Brown, but like I said, Royce O'Neal is a nice person to kind of replace him, and plus a better shooter than Bruce Brown. T.J. Warren, if the foot injuries have passed him, that's a 18 point a game score right there. Plus, you're getting Joe Harris back in the fold. You got Steph Curry. So you got nice 4 role players right there, along with Nick Claxton, the 2 young guys, and Cam Thomas and Nicholas and Sharp. And then if Durant and Kyrie good to go and Ben Simmons good to go, that's not a bad squad right there. Not a bad squad. And if you're like late game situations, D-Lock, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, T.J. Warren, Ben Simmons put him down low in the block to rebound and whatnot. You could do a lot worse, and that's not bad. You space in the floor. You got 3 guys that could take out the dribble. You got your spot up shooter. Actually, 4 guys, you really count Ben Simmons, you can take out the dribble as well. So, I mean, I can't say like the window's closed. But it goes back to those 2 main guys. They don't want to be there. So, it is what it is. And, I hope they come to their senses and kind of look at things like, well, we kind of got a better team now. So, I don't know. We'll see, D-Lock, on that. But before we get out of here... Oh, go ahead.
No, I agree with you.
Before we get out of here, I want to ask you this question. There are reports saying that Draymond is probably seeking max deal from the Warriors. There's also been counter reports saying that the Warriors may tell him you may probably got to go seek that elsewhere. But as you and I know, and everybody else knows, Warriors management loves Draymond Green for whatever reason. D-Lock, is Draymond Green a max player in your eyes?
Nah. No, sir. I mean, I think that he's going to go to the Hall of Fame for 2 reasons. For one, he's with the Warriors with all those rings that they have. He played a huge part in that. So I commend him for that. And 2, most importantly, is because of NBA basketball Hall of Fame is totally different than NFL Hall of Fame. So it's kind of a combination. women, basketball, and other things. I think he gets in for those specific reasons. But I don't see him as a max player. I mean, he's very good, but I don't see him doing enough to be a max player. I put it like this. If you put Draymond Green on his own team, they're not going to the NBA Finals.
Oh, hell no.
They don't go far.
Yeah, they ain't winning 25 games.
Yeah. So, now other players have gotten paid that probably couldn't do that. But at this point, I think we talked about it. Draymond is what, 31?
32.
32? Okay. I'm not. Hell no, I ain't giving him no max. I'll put him in that package deal for Kevin Durant if he asks for something like that. But for me, I think, like I said, I think he's a really good player, but not max. Like, max is that's a totally different area. And he's not. And then another thing that don't help the situation is the fact that he's always in foul trouble. So that doesn't help anything at all. Technical foul, it's just, the way he plays, you don't know how much of a Draymond you're gonna get, especially if you're giving somebody some damn max. So, like I said, I like him. I think he's a very good player. Moving forward, I think, like I said, I don't think they're done winning rings, but I'm not giving him no max.
Just real quick, I don't think he's a max player as well. I mean, I think in terms of this cap and whatnot, I don't think he's above $100 million player. I don't think he's worth that much anymore. But, stranger things have happened. But, defensively and stuff like that, yeah, you want a guy like him on your squad. But it's just, like, offensively, especially in this day and age, we see in the finals, it's like sometimes offensive-wise, they're playing 4 out of 5. And the Draymond, if like a few years back, was great offensive for the Warriors. Passing the ball, stuff like that. Moving out the ball. Even, shooting somewhat decent from outside. Kind of help things. But now he can barely do that. And the reason I don't see them giving a max deal right now to him, because I think they kind of hoping these young guys that had drafted the past couple years in the lottery, and then like we been talking about in the draft, Michael Baldwin being drafted, I think they hoping these young guys kind of show enough that they tell you, like, hey, look, Draymond, we're going with Wiseman, we're going with Kuminga, we're going with Patrick Baldwin. Thank you for your service, but we're going with the young guys. And I've been saying that all along. That sooner or later, these young guys are going to play some of these vets, not named Steph Curry. And I think, depending on how this upcoming season goes, and how these young guys play, mainly Jonathan Kuminga, they brought back Kevon Looney. If that happens, then I think we might see the last Draymond in a Warriors jersey. But
yeah, they got a lot of pieces on there. That'd be hard to see, but I can see that because Kuminga's what, 20 years old, I think?
Yeah, about 20 years old.
Yeah, so you got some young guys over there that can definitely play a huge role and fill that void. And again, like I said, it's the fact that Draymond, yes, he shoots his threes from time to time, but he's being more of a, he's giving more issues with fouls than, making a big impact. Now, I like his defense, love his defense, but it's just that the biggest thing is he can't stay on the court that long. And that team is kind of turning into more of a, they have more shooters than anything. So, but again, like you said, The max deal, no. But there's also, forget talking about the max deal, there's a big chance that we may not see him in a Golden State uniform, like in a couple of years.
And yeah, before I wrap this up, like I mentioned before, I'll say this: if Jordan Poole does what he did this past year, again this upcoming year, and depending on how Klay Thompson plays, hey, they might be sending out feelers for Klay Thompson. So mark this down, and when we do our team division previews again later on down the road here, I'm gonna mention here. When we preview the Pacific Division. If the young guys show any development, they could be players for the future for this franchise. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson will be showing the door. In the words of Nino Brown, nothing personal, just business. And we all know about pro sports. Like hell, we can throw in college sports also. It's all business. So, you heard it here from me first. Go ahead.
I'm agreeing. I mean, at this point, you just never know what could happen. But it's the fact that if he doesn't make a bigger impact, we definitely be seeing him on his way out. I think Klay has a better chance of staying just because of what he can do. But yeah, man, it's right now it's definitely as they say for coaches, he is on that hot seat. So forget about giving him a damn max. He got to step his game up.
And we'll leave it on that. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight with us, ladies and gentlemen. If you're hearing the broadcast earlier today, Bill Russell has passed away at the age of 88. And also, I want to give out condolences to another legend that passed away too. Let me pull her name real quick. Nichelle Nichols, who played Star Trek for all those years as Lieutenant Uriah. She passed away today at the age of 89. So, two legends passed away today. So, we'll give our condolences to those families. And prayers to them. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Black Gas 813. Football season is coming around. So, now I'm mixing in, talking about Paulo looking good in these different leagues. Now I'm mixed with some NFL as well. Let them know they can find you at, and also let them know about your podcast.
You follow the show at Fastbreak at IESR. That's Fastbreak IESR. Also, do follow me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. Also, do another show aside called The Crooks Process. My most recent video is about Vince McMahon. I'll do another video about him pretty here soon. So, do be on the lookout for that. But do follow the show on Facebook and Instagram called The Crooks Process. You'll see the CP logo there in the profile image. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all next week. Hopefully something will happen. If not, we'll come up with something, a good show. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, we're out.